One of the crazier elements that came out of The Last Jedi was the whole revelation that Leia had force powers, that she had force abilities, abilities that we had never seen, abilities that we never knew existed, abilities that were shocking to many. Because at the moment that we saw them, it felt like the perfect end for the character. Carrie Fisher had already been dead for a year, unfortunately. So we knew that there was no way she would be coming back for the final movie. And they hadn't even talked about doing anything with unused footage from The Force Awakens. So when they actually brought her back after that explosion, and they did the whole Carrie Poppins scene, which is one of the things that really divided the fan base, it was a moment where I was really kind of curious what the title The Last Jedi was going to be, because it really did feel like it was going to be Luke, right? Like Luke was going to be the last Jedi because Carrie Fisher was dead. Then you get to the end of the movie, and for some reason they didn't hit stop on the fade for that particular transition, and therefore save that dumpster fire of a film. But no, they decided to follow along with Rian Johnson's vision to not alter the ending, to keep Luke Skywalker alive and to let him fade out into nothingness, or perhaps being a Force ghost. And it just left fans angry, bitter, and confused, because where was this story going to go? How was J.J. Abrams going to fix it? Well, as we're coming to find out now, apparently it was meant to be from the beginning that Leia was going to be the last Jedi, which makes sense given where the movie did go, but reality in the movie did not run parallel to one another. So anyway, it says here that Leia was originally planned to be Star Wars' real Last Jedi, according to her brother. So Carrie Fisher's Leia Organa Solo was intended to be the actual Last Jedi in Disney's Star Wars saga, according to Todd Fisher, saying she was going to be the big payoff in the final film. She was going to be the Last Jedi, so to speak. That's cool, right? And you know what? Yeah, that is cool, because it makes sense. In the general context of the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, and then now the sequel trilogy, having Leia be the Last Jedi would be pretty good. And having her be the Last Jedi would make sense for the killing off of Luke Skywalker. But given the fact that the movie came out a year after her death, you figure they still would have gone and like re-edited the ending in order to keep Luke alive. And it was as simple. It was as simple as just not hitting fade. I can't fully like express my discontent with that scene enough, because they could have stopped 2 years of online fighting, 2 years of bickering, 2 years of absolute, oh my God, frustration by just going, nah, let's just delete that transition. Let's just not have him fade out. Let's not do that. But they had no plan. Even though Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul, dead in the ground for a year, by the time that movie came out, they still couldn't even come up to it. They still couldn't figure this out. Now, anyway, Todd here goes on to say, people used to come up to me and say, why is it that Carrie never got a lightsaber and chops up some bad guys? Todd Fisher said Obi-Wan was in his prime when he was Carrie's age. Well, he says here that the truth is that J.J. Abrams is great friends with Carrie. He had an extraordinary sense of love for her. They had 8 minutes of footage. They grabbed every frame and analyzed it. Then they reverse engineered it and got it into the story the right way. It's kind of magical. And of course, he's referring to the rise of Skywalker and the 8 minutes of footage we might get of Leia in that particular movie. It might be more. It will probably be less, right? Kind of like DNA sampling. They're going to stretch it as far as they can, but eventually you run out of content. You just run out of material to use. Kind of like the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones. But Leia as the Last Jedi, Leia as the survivor of the Skywalker Saga would be a cool thing. I'd be totally for that. And that seems at this point like that's one of the things that J.J. Abrams had planned. That's one of the things that J.J. Abrams put in his outline. And that would be one of the reasons why they were okay with killing off Luke Skywalker at the end of The Last Jedi. I still, to this day, if 2 years later, don't understand it from a business perspective. It was a bold gamble on the part of Lucasfilm. I mean, it was clearly a bold gamble, thinking, no, people will be okay with it because we'll be able to explain it in 2 years. We'll be able to explain it when it comes to 2019, and we'll be able to showcase all of that, and it'll be great. And maybe they'll be proven right. Who knows? Maybe they'll be proven right. Maybe at this point, they'll actually be able to get a solid, to bring it home. considering the considering that in the new Resistance Reborn novel, the whole Finn Rose romance is now just friends. They're retconning as much of Rian Johnson's movie as humanly possible. So they're going to take that 8 minutes of footage and they're going to probably make it work to the best of their ability. And look, say what you will about J.J. Abrams for sticking the landing. He at least knows how to do a proper setup. He at least knows how to play with what he has in order to make it as big and I would say as bold as he can. Let's just hope he brings this one home, because at this point, what else do we got, really? It's going to be sad to see Leia on screen again. It's going to be real sad. I'm not fully ready for it, to be honest with you, but I'm excited to see what they do. I'm glad they're not Peter Cushing it, which would be interesting. But at the same time, it's just going to be real difficult, just like with Peter Mayhew, to say goodbye. And in this case, to say goodbye quite literally all over again. And it's been 3 years. So thanks, JJ. Thanks, Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. You're ripping off an old Band-Aid. You're making people get sad again. Anyway, your thoughts, your opinions, let me know down in the comments below. I really appreciate it. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been 3 Buck Theater. If you made it this far, go ahead and type a Leia in the chat so I know. Please also hit the like button, hit that subscribe, smash that bell. I mean, like, really punch the hell out of that bell. Just one time is all that's needed, but make it a good solid punch in the face. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day. May the Force be with you, and peace out. This video is supported by patrons like you. If you'd like to become a patron, please head over to patreon.com/Matt Jarbo.